Hello everyone, this is an MSI Wind U100 and it's running the very latest version of Windows. I made a video a couple of years ago where it ran Windows 10 when it just came out, but since its release there's been several updates of Windows 10 and I dug this little guy out of the storage recently to see if it still worked, and sure enough it booted up just fine. Hooked it up to the internet and downloaded the latest Windows update. So this is actually running Windows 10 20H2, which is the current latest version as of January 2021. So it's booting up, it's working hard. It's still got an old school hard drive, so booting up is not going to be fast. This was never a very fast machine to begin with. It was a single core Atom processor and it shipped with Windows XP, and it had 1 gig of RAM, and I used this little machine when I was in college between 2008 and 2012, and back then these little laptops were kind of a thing for a while. I thought it was everyone who saw me with it also wanted one, so back then it was a cool little gadget to have. And as you can see, it's still booting up. We're almost 2 minutes into the video now, so it's it ran a bit faster on Windows XP, but that's a much simpler OS. I've had Windows XP on here. I even had Vista on here for a little while. And then I upgraded to Windows 7, and that ran fine after upgrading the memory to 2 gigs. And then when Windows 10 came out, you could do the free upgrade, and I did that. And in terms of speed, things didn't improve a whole lot. But you know, the fact that it runs it in the first place is pretty impressive. So as you can see, it's still loading. That's like the disk access light. So oh, here we go. We got some kind of screen in here. Please wait. Yep, we've been doing that for the last 3 minutes. And to be fair, I did it was turned off all the way because there's no battery in this thing anymore, because I don't trust it anymore. Back then I ordered one of those aftermarket batteries, and it was like a big heavy brick coming from some unofficial factory, and I just didn't really trust it anymore after all those years. So I just got rid of the battery. It didn't hold any charge anymore anyway, so it's just hooked up to the cable now. And yep, here we still are looking at the loading screen of a computer, a little old laptop that's booting up Windows 10 for almost 4 minutes now. It's kind of interesting to think about how much things have changed in a little over 10 years, really. If you buy a computer now, like this laptop, when I bought it, if I remember correctly, I think I paid 250 euros for it back in 2008. And back then, you know, when you're in college, that's quite a bit of money, and I'm not even sure if there's any laptops out right now that you can buy for that kind of money. Oh, here we go. Well, there's proof that this is a recent video, January 23. Well, you just have to take my word for it that it's 2021. Alright, let's start my pin. And it's loading. Yep, still loading. But yeah, you know, even budget laptops now have SSDs in them, and I still think that's by far the biggest change in terms of performance. Even if you replace an SSD in an older machine, it makes a huge difference. And I'm not 100% sure if it would make a big difference in this case, because this little machine is so underpowered by today's standards that I'm not sure if anything would speed it up at this point, because we're talking about a single core processor from 2008 that was designed for the lowest power consumption possible and not for speed at all. And you know, back then they didn't have the super small lithography that they have now, so back then it was a lot harder to create energy efficient chips. But you know, back in the day when this came out, it was already pretty slow, and by 2021 standards it's especially slow. But like I said, it works. It actually works. Oh, there's the taskbar. So let's see, there's a start menu. And just like in the last video, I'll just open up the weather app. Let's see if I can get the internet to work. There we go. So the internet's activated. Although it did update when I hooked it up by cable. Let's see if we can find a network. Because being a laptop from 2008, this thing has actual proper connections. We got an RJ45 port here. Not sure if you can see it in the dark, but here's an internet port that you can put an actual cable in. Good old VGA analog microphone in and out. iPhones don't have the headphone jack anymore. This thing still does. And here we got two full-size USB ports. And I don't think there's a good driver for the internet right now for this thing. I'll just have to try to see if I can download that driver from the MSI website, because the support page for this laptop is still up, believe it or not. So maybe I can get that to work, but just to show you what kind of machine we're dealing with, I'll attempt to open the start menu. See, I'm not sure if it actually registers the click, because it's so slow that there's a good chance that it will open up the start menu. Well, there you go. 10 seconds later. Let's open up the settings so I can show you the specifications of this little machine. You know, the cool thing is the screen is still very bright, even by today's standards. Resolution is not that impressive, but that's to be expected. You know, this is a 12-year-old machine after all. Well, let's try to diagnose all the internet connections. It would be pretty cool if it actually could connect again. Wi-Fi did work on the previous version of Windows 10, which was, I believe, if I remember correctly, the initial release or one or two big updates after that one. And here we go. We got an Intel Atom N270 at 1.6 gigahertz, single core, but with hyper-threading. That was the big thing that they sold you on. But yeah, you know, and it's a 32-bit processor too, so no 64-bit. And the motherboard could only handle 2 gigabytes max, so that was but you know, back then that was fine. And I guess once it still runs, I guess it's sort of, nope. All right, well, let's see. Connect to the Wi-Fi repeater. Well, maybe that'll do it. Well, while this thing is doing its thing, let's see what the task manager tells us. Fans are spinning up now. Maybe you can hear them. There are no running apps? No, that's a lie. Let's see. Give me some more details. Well, as you can see, it's very slow, even though this is pretty much a clean installation of Windows. Let's see what's eating our CPU. Oh, that's just basically the Windows Explorer itself and antivirus. I haven't booted this thing up in a long time, so maybe it's doing some initial stuff. But if we go to performance, you can see that we actually got 2 threads, because this is a processor that has hyper-threading. And you know, if you're a little bit up to speed, if you look at the amount of cache of this thing, that should give you an idea how tiny this chip actually is, if you kind of know a little bit about processors. So there you got the memory, 60%, pretty, you know, pretty respectable. Windows 10 is pretty good if you, in terms of scaling, like it can operate pretty well on with 2 gigs of RAM, as long as you don't try to do too much. And the hard drive is working hard. But since the CPU is maxed out all the time, that tells me that that's the bottleneck of this little machine. Oh, and the troubleshooter wasn't able to fix the network, it looks like. Does it detect networks at all? Oh, something's coming up. Oh, it does see the networks. So let's see what happens if I connect to this thing. Well, maybe it can connect after all. I guess I stand corrected to myself earlier in this video. Close this window. Give the computer a little bit more room in its memory to figure out the internet, and it looks like we are actually connected now. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, let's see how the new Microsoft Edge browser works, the one that's based on Google Chrome. So this might as well, in case you don't know, if your Microsoft Edge has this logo with the wave, that basically means that it's the new version of Chrome, which is based on Edge, or which is based on this new version of Edge that's based on Chrome. And basically, if you have that, there's no need for you to download Chrome, because it can run all your extensions and it will work and perform exactly the way you expect it to, because under the hood it is chrome. It's starting up. We got a big white screen. Still working very hard. I guess this is the kind of video you're going to make when you're locked up in your house during the lockdown, huh? Digging up some old computer stuff, trying to make it work, see if it still works. Here we go. Wow, it actually works. All right. Well, let's see with YouTube how that will work, because that's always a good test. Because then we can see if it actually plays a video. Let's see if these buttons work. Can we dim the screen? Can we make it brighter? Does it still work? Yeah, it does. With a delay, but it does. There you go. Same with the volume, probably. Huh? Yep. Turn the sound down a little bit. Turn it up. One of the things I really liked about this computer when I got it, and one of the biggest praises that it got, was the keyboard. And if you type on it, it is still a very nice keyboard to type on. Let's see if I can pull up the notepad. There you go. Although I'm not sure if that's the app I'm looking for. I'm looking for the old one. Did they get rid of it in the latest version? Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they converted it into a modern app now. Let's see, I'm trying to boot up Notepad while YouTube is running in the background. It is responding. You just need a little bit more patience, my friend. Oh, there it is, Notepad. It looks like, at least. There it is, yeah. And, well, I can type with 10 fingers now, but and as you can tell, it makes a nice noise. It has good key travel. I stand by that. Nope, missed a K there. Boom. Alright, we got YouTube. Let's see if we can find other MSI Wind videos on here. We got the UFC coming up with Conor McGregor this weekend. That's gonna be fun. We got Gordon Ramsay slicing some salmon. And we got someone playing the Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel on a harp. That's pretty cool. Well, as you can see, it has a lot of trouble with just loading a modern web page. Oh boy. I gotta agree to sell my soul to Google before I'm allowed to view videos on YouTube, it seems like. Well, and you know, this video is getting pretty long now, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what it's like to, gives a pretty good insight to what computers used to be in a bygone era. I know I'm sounding like an old man now, but I do remember a time that computers were just very slow and also pretty unreliable. And you know, even though this little laptop served me well over the years, in general, computers kind of started to become like solid and reliable semi-recently, really. I mean, if I compare my current computer, like with the latest version of Windows 10, and I got the fast SSD in there, and decent amount of RAM, and that thing just never crashes. And that didn't used to be the case. And here we go. 5 years ago, I posted a video of this netbook. Let's see what happens if I open up this video, see if it actually works. Sort of like an inception of YouTube videos. We're watching a MSI Wind U100 video on a MSI Wind U100. Come on, little buddy, you can do it. Yeah, still working, still loading. Well, it does the full screen thing. And it sounds like it's about to lift off now. The fan is spinning at max speed, it sounds like. And it's having trouble with maximizing the screen. Oh, it looks like this guy is taking one of these laptops apart. It's kind of interesting. Well, as you can see, it has a lot of trouble with stuff like YouTube, you know. Oh, fan just started spinning even faster. Well, it has trouble with stuff that you wouldn't even think about computers would have trouble with today. Or, you know, you can watch 4K video on your phone these days, and that thing is fits in your pocket and doesn't even have a fan. And again, it just shows you how far we've come in terms of technology in the last 10, 15 years. I just want to see whether it's able to run video at all with sound, and if it can actually do it smoothly. I'm not so sure now. I mean, I'm sure it will eventually, I think it will eventually start playing, maybe one frame at a time, but not a whole lot is happening right now. Or, well, I guess it's working hard. That's why the fans are spinning, but I don't have enough patience, I think, to see if this thing can actually play a video. And I'm not sure you, dear viewer, have too, because you're watching a 25-minute video now of a very old laptop trying to play a YouTube video, and so far it's not succeeding. Oh, did something happen there? The screen just dimmed because I left it alone for a while. Alright, I'm gonna wait wait another 20 seconds, and if nothing happens, then I'm giving up on YouTube. Even though it's obviously trying very hard. Well, let's try something else. Let's go to a tech website. See how that works. Guess we can forget about YouTube, it looks like. Well, it doesn't seem to want to do that either. Maybe if I open up a new tab and close this one, maybe that will clear up some memory. Something seems to be happening. No, I guess not. Oh, it does it. It looks like something's happening now. Oh, we got a screen, we got a white screen. Oh, there's some images coming. And wow, okay. It's loading the page, although it has to work very, very hard to do so. Although I gotta say, once you're scrolling, it is pretty smooth, I guess. Okay. Well, you know, it loads the page, that's for sure. Okay. Well, let's see what they wrote about this BMW, an electric BMW i4 that's able to drift. Well, that's important because it's a BMW. Well, as you can see, it does load web pages, although it's very slow. I guess it's fine if you just want to read a website or anything. Or maybe type up something in a simple in a word processor. Let's see how it will handle the images. Like it has the text renders pretty quickly, but it has trouble with images. That's to be expected because that's the heavier part of the website. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. Yeah, again, I used this little thing for 4 years during my college days. I did everything on it, so I will have too many fond memories of it to get rid of it, even though it's practically useless at this point. But you know, it's cool to keep it going, and I'll keep updating it with the latest versions of Windows and make videos of it if you guys are interested in it. And oh, there it is. And it seems so because the last video I made of this laptop still gets a lot of views and comments. So, you know, I guess there's a small crowd of MSI Wind U100 fans out there. Alright, well, I'm not going to wait on that YouTube video. I'm going to close it down because this is already a very long video. And I will shut down this little machine. And I'll make another video when the next version of Windows comes out. Which should be in a couple of months. I think the next update, which is going to be called 21H1, will be a small update. And the big one is going to be 21H2, which will come out at the end of this year. And they're going to do a lot of visual stuff with the interface. And really give Windows a big update in terms of looks. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'll be back with another video once a new version of Windows is out. It's still shutting down. There we go. Alright everybody, see you next time.